So here I have open my draw panel file, and I'm going to go ahead and go through this. I'm going to go through different items in the draw panel, which is located up here in the upper left-hand corner. And I'm going to populate this center column, and then I'm going to leave it to you guys to populate the right column. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the line command. So the line command is going to create line in separate segments. So this is asking me to create two separate line segments. So I'm just going to simply point and click, and then I'll press escape to escape my command. And now if I click on these, I can see that they are two separate line segments. And I will press escape again. This one wants me to create two connected line segments. So I could do that with the polyline. So if I once again just point and click with my polyline tool, now if I click on this, this is one object. So these two line segments are connected. And I'll go ahead and escape that. And then here I want to create a center radius circle, and that circle is going to have a radius of 1. So I will go here to center radius, and I'll click in this box, and then I will specify, if I look down at my command line, specify radius of circle, or diameter, right? So I can change it to diameter here if I want to, but I'm going to do radius, so I'm going to say 1. There we go. And I'm going to do a center diameter circle for this next one. I'm going to click here, and the diameter is going to be 0.075. All right. And then right here, I have a 2-point circle. So I want to create a circle between the two midpoints of the line. And if you're not seeing your midpoints, so if I were to go to 2-point, I hover over it, I'm going to see my little midpoint symbol, which is this green triangle. If you go over here, just make sure that's turned on in your object snaps. Okay, so now I can go ahead and select here and here to create my circle. And now my 3-point circle, create a circle using the midpoints of the sides of the triangle. So I will go to 3-point, select this midpoint, this one, and my 3rd point right there. And then tangent, tangent, radius circle, create a circle using that, create a circle that is, let me edit this. That is tangent to the two lines and has a radius of 0.5. There we go. Okay, so tangent, tangent, radius. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on this one, and I see the little tangent symbol, this one. Then I'm gonna go ahead and specify the radius of 0.5, and that went ahead and created my circle right there. Okay, and now create a circle using, sorry, that is tangent to all sides of the triangle. All right, and so I will go here and select tangent, 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 and I'm going to make sure it's tangent to all 3 of these. Okay. There we go. And so now I'm going to move on to the arc. Create an arc using the 3 points of the line. So 1, 2, 3. So 3-point arc. I'm going to select this one, this point here, and this point right here. So the start, center, end arc, I want to show that by doing this. So create an arc starting at the end point of the pink line, the center at the intersection, and the end at the yellow. So I will do this one. I'm going to start at the endpoint of the pink line, the center. So it says specify center point of arc right here at the intersection, and then specify endpoint of arc. So if you're not really sure what you want to do, you are going to go ahead and read your command line to know what you have to do next. So now I have to go ahead and connect to my yellow line. There we go. Create an arc using the left endpoint as the start, the midpoint as the center, and the right endpoint as the chord length. So that's going to be start, center, length, arc. So it says specify start point of arc. It's going to be the left endpoint, specify center point, and we said the midpoint is the center. And then it's going to say specify the chord, the length of the chord. And then we already said that the length of the chord is going to be the right endpoint. So right here. All right, and then now we're going to create an arc using the intersection point as the start, the left pink endpoint as the end, and add an angle of 120 degrees. So I will go to the start and angle arc, specify start point. So this one is going to be the start, specify end point, the left pink as the end. Oh, sorry, actually, let me escape that. I'll do it one more time. I want to use the intersection point as the start and then specify end point. It says the left pink is the end point. And then now I need to enter in an angle. So this angle is going to be 120 degrees. So if I see this yellow line is actually at 120 degrees, so I can line it up with that. And if you look at that little white box with the blue text or the blue highlighted text, it says 120 degrees. So that is a line that is tangent with this circle. So I'm going to go ahead and just type in 120. There we go, and it created that arc right there. All right, and so now I'll do start and direction. Create an arc using the left pink endpoint as the start. Specify the start point. The right pink endpoint as the end. Specify the end point. And the tangent direction as the green line. So I could go ahead and click on this line here, and then it's going to create that arc. And notice these are actually the same. So if I were to have done it the other way, where I specified the start point of the arc, so first I did the left and then the right. If I would have chose this yellow line to be the tangent direction, then it would have created, oops, sorry. If I would have went the other way, I should say, this way, and then if I would have did the yellow line right here, then it would have created the same arc as I did above. Okay, so I'm going to delete this one because the directions were to create this arc. All right, and so now I'm going to use the start and radius arc. And I'm going to create an arc using the left pink endpoint as the start point, the right pink endpoint as the radius, as the end point as well, and then the radius is going to be 1. All right, and it does matter which order you create the arc in. Let's say if I went from right to left, for example, and I did a radius of 1. See, now it's actually on the other side. So if you're getting your arc moving in the wrong direction, go ahead and try selecting your points in the other direction. So instead of going from left to right, you can try from right to left or vice versa. Okay. So I'm going to go to center, start, end arc. So create an arc using the intersection point as the center, specify center point of arc. The right endpoint as the start, specify start point of the arc. And the endpoint as the top pink endpoint. So I'm just going to drag it all the way over here and then it ends right there. All right, and then I'll move on to center, start, angle arc. Create an arc using the left endpoint as the center, specify center point. The right endpoint adds the start, specify start point. And it ends at an angle of 150 degrees. So if I go, I could see the degrees on my next to my cursor, but I'm going to go ahead and just enter in 150 because I want it to be exact and I'm given it an exact number. There we go, 150 degrees. Let's move on to the next art. Start, center, start, length, arc. Create an arc using the left endpoint as the center. The right endpoint as the start. And this is going to have a chord length of 1.5. So the chord length is the length between the ends, each endpoint of the arc. So if you look, you can see that this is about 1.5-ish right here. So it's going to end pretty close to that spot. There we go. And then if you were to do continue, that would just continue from the last arc that you were creating. Okay. All right, and so now I'm going to move on to the rectangle command. So create a rectangle between the two corners. So I'm just going to go ahead and select this one, and I will go ahead and click on each of these corners. All right, and then now I want to create a polygon with 5 sides, inscribed in the circle with a radius of 0.5. So here I'm going to drop down and I'm going to find the polygon command. So I'm going to click on this and then I'm going to read my command line. It says enter the number of sides. And so I wanted to have 5 sides. So I'm going to say 5, spacebar to enter. Now specify the center of the polygon. So I want it to be in this circle, so I'm going to specify this as the center. And then it's asking if I want it to be inscribed in the circle or circumscribed about the circle. This one's going to be inscribed. And the radius is going to be 0.5. All right, and so inscribed means that this polygon is put inside this circle with a radius of 0.5, and the side lengths are equal. So now we're going to do the same thing, only we're going to do a circumscribed polygon, and it's going to have a different number of sides. So I will go ahead and select polygon again. This time I'm going to change it to 8 sides. The center of the polygon is going to be at the center of here, and then I'm going to say it's going to be circumscribed about the circle, and the radius is going to be 0.5. All right, and so now I have created a circle that is around, I'm sorry, a polygon that is around a circle of radius 0.5. So both of these circles already had a radius of 0.5, and this is just kind of showing the difference between circumscribed and inscribed. All right, and so next we will move on to the center ellipse. We want to create an ellipse using the left endpoints as the center. So I'll do this one here, center ellipse, specify the center of the ellipse, left endpoint here as the center, and then the right endpoint of the axis. And then now it's saying the distance to the other axis is 0.5. So specify the distance to the other axis. So I'm going to say 0.5. There we go. And then axis end ellipse. So I'm going to now select axis end. Create an ellipse using the left pink endpoint as the axis endpoint. Specify other endpoint of axis, the pink right endpoint as the other axis endpoint. And then specify the distance to the other axis. So here you can once again put in a value, but it's just saying to use the top of this yellow one as your distance. So 0.3 right there. All right, and so now we're going to create an elliptical arc. So I will create an ellipse using the method above. So I'm going to select the left side, the right side, and then this, just like I did in this one right here above. So the endpoint here, and then now specify the start angle. So I'm going to say 0. So now it's creating, so this is where I started my ellipse, right? Was right here. So now it's creating an elliptical arc like this, and it's going to end at 200, so specify end angle, 270 degrees. There we go. So now it's an elliptical arc. And then here I'm going to go ahead and use the hatch command. So I will select hatch, and then I'm going to pick an internal point to hatch this polygon. So that is just going to put a pattern inside this enclosed shape. And then this says to create a spline fit to the points. And so the points are actually really hard to see because they are so small. But if I were to take my selection box and highlight them, you can kind of see them there. So the spline tool is going to be in this drop down for the draw menu. And it wants to be, we want it to be fit to the points. So we're going to select this one over here on the left. There's another spline here, but this is the one that we are choosing. Spline fit. Okay, so now I'm going to specify the different points. And these are nodes here actually, so I need to turn on my node object snap. So here we go. So I turned it on, and then I'm going to fit it to these nodes. And they're hard to see, but because I had the node object snap on, it makes it much easier. And then enter. Okay, so I created a spline fit to these points. All right, so I will go ahead and leave the right column to you guys.